So we have this article out of the Daily Mail talking about Matt Damon donning a flowing black wig as he joins Luke, not Chris, Luke Hemsworth, and Sam Neill on elaborate theater-style set for Thor Love and Thunder shoot in Sydney, Australia. So if you remember going back to Thor Ragnarok, when Thor comes back to Isengard and sees Loki imitating his father, Odin, there's a play going on. In that play, Matt Damon was playing Loki and Chris Hemsworth was being played by his brother Luke in the role of Thor. In addition, what I found to be really interesting was that Odin was being played by Sam Neill and not by Anthony Hopkins. Interesting little play within a play thing. With the complete infiltration of most intellectual properties in the science fiction and fantasy realm, with intersectional and woke political agendas, let's hope that's not the only interesting thing that Taika Waititi is going to bring to this new movie set in what has been called the MCU. Let's not forget what Taika said when he, and I quote, "I'll ruin your mythos in a minute, baby." Because as we all know, one of the most successful ways in winning and gaining and keeping customers is to insult them and, above all, mock them for what they believe. So let's check out these pictures, huh? We got Matt Damon, Luke Hemsworth, Sam Neill. Lots of tents. In another exclusive article in the Daily Mail, we have Melissa McCarthy. I'm sorry, I had something in my throat. So Melissa McCarthy is going to be playing Hela in, of course, that play within the movie that they're going to watch with Loki and Thor. Doesn't she just bring that certain something to every role she plays? Lots of set pictures, lots of people, lots of cranes. Now there was probably not new news, but something that outlines what I think what a lot of us have feared, which is that in the forthcoming Thor installment, Natalie Portman is back as Jane Foster, and she will pick up the hammer and become the goddess of thunder. And look at what they put there in quotes. The female Thor. Oh, boy, you know, it would really be refreshing to see a movie with female empowerment, with a woman in charge, with representation, with a woke agenda. I'm dying to see a movie that has that injected into the storyline to subvert our expectations so that we can all be educated. We've been entertained just far too long. This MCU, obviously, you are ahead of the curve. So Thor, Love and Thunder, doesn't come out until May 2022. How sick are you at the moment in March of 2021 of every single thing full of intersectional politics, identity politics, a woke agenda, of being reprogrammed through your entertainment? Well, I know how I feel, and it's obvious by the things that I say and the fact that I started this channel. It may not be obvious to those people who make pretend things, movies, television shows, that the reason that we sit in front of the idiot box or we open our laptop or we look at our phone is because we want to be taken away from whatever this dark timeline is that we're currently in. We want to be entertained. We want to lose ourselves in a good story, which is entertaining, which is moving on a human level. We are not looking for the North Korean equivalent of the old after-school special where we're going to be told how little Susie needs to not get in the van with the man with the candy. You know what? I like candy. I'm not going to get in a van with strangers. I don't need to be talked to like an 8-year-old. I don't need to be reprogrammed. As a matter of fact, you're not going to reprogram me. What you've been doing, Hollywood, is you have been pissing me off. And apparently, a lot of us out there are just Yahtzees, we're ists and phobes, we're toxic fans. If we're such terrible people, why don't you find another line of work? Why don't you say, go work in construction? There's a hell of a lot of houses being built right now as people flee cities and go off to smaller towns, especially leaving California. If your audience, if the people you're making movies for are so terrible and so despicable and backwards, especially in those flyover states and in our small towns flying our American flags, why don't you do something else? Why don't you make something else? Why don't you choose another career path? I got to tell you, by the box office numbers we've been seeing out of the People's Republic of China, they don't want what you're making either. They just want to be entertained. How did Mulan work out for Disney, by the way? You picked a great spot to film it at. God, the hypocrisy of all of this. I mean, the MCU, I'm not looking forward to these movies the way that I did with the other ones. And it's not because I'm a misogynist or whatever the hell the Twitter du jour insult is for people. It's entertainment. I've silently walked away up until starting this channel. And you know where I've put my money? I've been buying physical media. You know what I've been buying? I've been buying Taxi on DVD, the old show from the 70s. Latka, Tony. I've been buying Barney Miller. I've been buying movies from the 80s I haven't seen since I was a teenager and went into the cinema. There's a ton of them out there, great science fiction things. I'm actually going to be doing an episode on that in the future. I don't really think this is a generational thing either. I'm Gen X. I don't know. The millennials, they're going to do whatever the hell they're going to do. But I think Gen Z, they're longing for something real, for the truth. They are desperate, in my experience and in talking with some of these kids. They want the classical mythos. They want the Joseph Campbell hero's journey. That journey isn't gender, race, religious, political, sexual orientation, pronoun, whatever the hell XYZ access category seems to be all that seems to matter now in what we're seeing on the screen. Those mythos are part of our collective human experience. To destroy that, to destroy what it is that has made Hollywood so wealthy and so influential, telling good stories based upon the foundations of that hero's journey, isn't just madness, it's financial suicide. How many more failures can you guys absorb before somebody goes, holy cow, I'd like to make a great product and make a hell of a lot of money and not piss all my fans off. I'd like to treat Luke Skywalker with respect. I'd like to treat Doctor Who with some dignity. I'd like to treat the Star Trek franchise and the Federation and what the Federation stands for in Captain Kirk and Janeway and everyone else in Picard with some dignity. And make good stories. Now, I'm not a Zack Snyder fanboy. I do appreciate his work. But look at what he's doing with Justice League. Look at what they did with Sonic the Hedgehog. When they took fan feedback, they crushed it. And yes, I know they were playing against the Short Bus team with Birds of Prey, but they crushed the box office and the fans loved it. And it made a lot of damn money. I don't know. Maybe Love and Thunder will be okay. Maybe it'll be the greatest MCU movie ever made. I doubt it. I do. I'll give it a fair shake, but I'm going to give it an extraordinarily skeptical one, and not because I like to be pissed off. I've had my heart broken too many damn times. Thor Love and Thunder comes out May of 2022. Will you see it? Are you excited to see Jane Foster, little 98-pound wet Jane Foster, pick up Thor's hammer and become the female Thor? I'm Corey B., and this is Salty Salish Sea.